Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say, yeah,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day. Yes, good day. Yeah,
G'day.
G'day. Yeah, g'day. Yeah,
Day.
yeah, good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
good day.
G'day. Hey, yeah, g'day. Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Welcome to Yeah, G'day, the complete guide to Australia.
It could have been any country, but we chose Australia.
Pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
People are like, New Zealand? No, get out of here. Argentina? Is it a country? I don't know. Get out of here.
Argentina's a country. Yes, I can confirm that.
Never heard of it. I'm just making up things off the top of my head. Tim, it's great that we can be here together in this space.
In this hot space. It's already hot. The fan's
warm.
been off for 2 minutes.
I feel like it's like a competition podcast where it's like, how hot can they withstand? The answer is not very.
Not very.
So,
I don't have very high heat tolerance.
this will be a 4-minute podcast. It's episode 80.
Oh, okay.
Where did you not know this?
I do now. Yep.
It's episode 80. I think we should share. There are only 5 bushranger episodes left.
Yeah.
I had to count. I thought it was 4, but
Yep.
100 counts. Because that we will have done 20 episodes on bushrangers. We think it's time to move on.
Sometimes you got to not do anything, not do it anymore.
Sometimes you got no one to hold them and no one to say, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, something like that.
And with a good lead up like that, it's a bushranger episode.
Yeah.
As always, we are in horrible amounts of debt to Aiden feeling, because without him, I would have no idea
Yeah.
who to talk about.
He told us names, and so we're going to use those
He
names.
gave us 5 people, so like basically he is doing the podcast on episodes 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100. Take it away, Aiden. But today we're talking about Michael Howe.
Correct.
Am I right?
Michael Howe, with an E.
Yeah, the cool way to spell Howe.
Yep. Not Howe like Michael Howe. Like Michael Howe is his name.
Oh, I was like, I don't see the difference, but I could hear the comma a little bit,
Yeah.
and the question mark. But tell me all that you know about Michael Howe.
Everything I know.
Every
Oof.
single piece.
Let me tell you. Michael Howe, bushranger, obviously.
Good
was
start.
a British convict. Born 1787 in Pontefract, Yorkshire, in England.
Pontefract.
Son of Thomas Howe and his wife, Elizabeth. Presumably Howe, although you can't assume.
No, she could have done whatever she wanted, although back then probably
Not. Definitely almost definitely Howe. So early in his life, he served 2 years on a merchant vessel at Hull, which I believe is a place.
Okay.
Before he actually deserted, he ended up joining the Navy as a seaman.
Well, what's
As a
long, hard, and
big
full of
bucket
semen?
of semen.
A
No,
bucket of semen.
possibly. And later, he actually also owned his own small craft. So started off on the boats, which is different. I don't think we've had a guy start off on the sea.
Not as a job.
No.
He sounds like a bit of a rich boy, because like nowadays, a measurement of richness is boats.
If you have a boat, you are rich.
Even a tinny makes you rich.
So it sounds like he started off pretty well off, or at least not. If not well off, he just was on a good track, sort of. So he was born, when did I say, 1787?
Yep.
July 31st, 1811. So how many years is that after? 3, 4, like 14 years after that?
Something like that.
Nah, that can't be right. Definitely
What did
not.
you say? 87?
I think it was 24.
87,
24 years.
97, 07, and then what is it? 11.
Yeah, he was 24. So he was 24. He was sentenced to 7 years transportation for robbing a miller on the highway. It doesn't really say
Was
how...
it the M4, the M7? What highway was he on? How fast was he going?
Oh, probably the M7.
What kind of car is he driving?
Yeah. A 2-door Honda Coupe.
Two-door carriage with 4 horse power.
So he robbed a miller, which I believe is a person that works at a mill,
Yes.
or potentially a shop assistant at Miller's, which is a
Yes.
old woman's clothing brand.
The
here in
guy worked
Australia.
at Marks and Spencer's, and he
Yeah.
robbed him on the A1. I think that's a highway over there.
So he got sent to Van Diemen's Land, now known as Tasmania.
Get
but
out of here.
It was known as Van Diemen's Land back then. In October 1812, in the ship named Indefatigable. We've talked about this. We've
have
mentioned this
talked about
ship before. Indefatigable. So it is fatigable.
It's not fatigable.
Yeah, it is fatigable is what we've come to.
Oh, this boat's not fatigable. Actually, I think it's not fatigable. Well, we can't. They've already painted on defatigable, so now we've got to paint on in.
Yeah, defatigable. Oh, okay, so it's not fatigable. Well, it is fatigable. Well, you can't call it defatigable if it is going to be fatigable.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay, we'll call it indefatigable.
And fatigable's already taken by the ship on the other port.
So he got here he got there in 1812, not here. A little south of here, Tasmania.
Yeah,
Van Diemen's
Tasmania.
Land.
Yeah.
And was assigned to a Mr. John Ingle. That's Ingle with an I. Ingle, just in case people were playing at home.
Probably the man that they named
Bingo.
Ingleside after.
Yeah,
You know? Who knows?
possibly. He was a merchant and a grazier.
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 Howe refused the assignment, though, declaring that having served the king, he would be no man's slave. I believe he's referring to being in the Navy. I think there was a king at that point as well. So
Yeah, probably.
he basically said, get fucked. And he wasn't going to do it.
How? This is your new boss, Mr. Ingle. Fuck you, Ingle.
Are you a king? No. Got no interest in being here then.
Funny, I don't see a crown on your head. Fuck off.
I'm going to be really upfront with you, Mr. Ingle. I'm very difficult to manage if you're not a king.
Look, I'm going to be upfront with you. You seem like a nice guy, but I fucking hate you.
Yeah. If you're not a king, I've got no interest in being here. So after that, he just escaped and joined a large party of escaped convicts in the bush.
Oh, that's nice. Bush Rangers.
Yeah, so he was out there for about 2 years, and then in May 1814, he gave himself up to authorities in response to an offer of clemency made by Governor Macquarie. So basically, Macquarie put out a proclamation. I don't know what the exact proclamation is. It gives me a link to go there. I'm not going to look at it.
It just did something.
I'm not going to read you the proclamation. Basically, it said, yeah, if you bring yourself forward, we'll kind of overlook it all.
He turn yourselves in,
Yeah.
and she'll be right.
I think, from what I understand, and we'll kind of get into this a little bit later, Tasmania, or Van Diemen's Land as was known back then, in terms of the bushranger convict situation, was pretty messed up. There's this giant kind of conspiracy about how it was all connected, but we'll talk about that towards the end. So he gave himself up.
Yep. As you
got away with it, but he went to the bush again immediately after and joined a band of bushrangers led by a gentleman by the name of John Whitehead. I don't think we've talked about Whitehead before.
So he was actually all G. They were like, sick. Thanks
Pretty
for turning
much,
yourself
yeah.
in. And then he was like, yeah, so I'm
Nah.
going to accuse him of some crime.
Yeah, no.
Fuck you, Ingle. I'm out of here.
I'm not enjoying this. I served the king. I will rob everybody.
Can you get Ingle back here? I just want to see him quickly. Hey, Ingle, it's me. Fuck off.
So the gang seems like it was pretty big. They were robbing and burning all of this shit down.
That's an interesting move. Weird
yeah.
flex.
Yeah.
Okay. Just burn some shit.
And then at one point, they were being pursued by an armed party of settlers who were obviously trying to probably catch them. There was probably some manner of reward up for them.
Settlers are a mess.
2 of the party were killed and others wounded in a fight which followed. Sorry. 2 of the settlers were killed during the chase, and many were wounded in a fight that followed. So rewards were then offered for their apprehension of the bushrangers, and a party of soldiers was sent out to look for them. On one occasion, the bushrangers fired a volley through the windows of a house in which the soldiers were stationed, and Whitehead actually ended up getting killed by the fire. Whitehead being the leader. Yeah. So from then, this is kind of a weird story. So before he was killed, Whitehead basically said to Howe that he wanted Michael Howe to cut his head off, so that, like, if he was killed, he wanted him to cut his head off so that the other side didn't get his head and be able to, like, parade it around as, like, look what we did. We got
do
the
some
guy.
chronology on it.
How did it? Yeah. No, he cut that guy's head off.
Now, assumedly the guy that they asked was Howe, and Howe's just walking around this guy's head, and he's like, no, he wanted me to. No, I don't. No, he asked me. You can't ask him because he's dead now.
I don't collect heads. I do have a lot of heads, but that's unrelated to this.
Well, I call myself a
situation.
collector, more of a connoisseur. I have several antique heads.
Yeah, how big is it before it becomes a collection?
Yeah, I've got at least 10.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing, is that's like, it's just such a shit story of him being like, no. He wanted me, Whitehead wanted me to.
No, he definitely wanted me to do that.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you can ask him.
Was he dead?
He's dead.
I think he was dead.
He looked pretty ill.
If he wasn't dead then, he would have been soon.
He was going to die.
So anyway, Howe ends up becoming leader of that bushranger group.
That's surprising.
Although two of the gang were not long after that caught and executed.
They had their heads cut off.
But they did a lot of robberies. February 1817, 2 more bushrangers were shot and another one was captured. And then I don't really understand the context of this, but Howe left the party kind of randomly following like the 2 deaths and the capture. He just left with an Aboriginal girl who I don't know if from the rest of the story, it seems like he had taken her hostage potentially.
Okay.
Because at one point, with the military close on his heels tracking him, he tried to shoot her, but only wounded her.
So it doesn't really sound like romance.
So I don't think it was romance. It seems like he was like
Kidnapping and just
kidnapping her.
kind of smell you later to the group.
Yeah, but it's not. Nothing ever makes it very clear
It's not clear.
specifically.
It's not great.
Maybe Aiden knows. Maybe he knows what was going on there. But
Aiden
I
knows
couldn't
something.
find the specifics as to why this girl was with them to begin with.
Yeah. It's not good, though.
So Howe ends up sending a letter to Governor Sorrell, who must have taken over from Governor Macquarie by this point, offering to surrender and give information about his former associates on condition that he would be pardoned of all of his crimes.
Okay.
So he ends up giving himself up to the military officer on that understanding, taken to Hobart Jail on the 29th of April 1817, where he was examined by the magistrates. He probably would have been pardoned, but at the end of July, he decided to escape from the jail again. So during that pardoning process, he obviously had to stay in the jail.
Yeah.
But this guy had itchy feet, and he said, "Fuck this! I'm not waiting around to get the pardon." He just went back,
You guys
bush
are
again.
as bad as that Ingle
Yeah.
guy. I'm out of here.
Apparently, how he actually escaped, he had pleaded that he wasn't feeling well. He was allowed to walk to a doctor, but like freely. He wasn't chained up or anything. In the company of one of the constables, he walked ahead of the constable who was distracted by something, and then he just escaped.
Just legged it.
So then he fell in with some more bushrangers, included some of his old companions. But I think there might have been some new ones.
The ones that he
quickly
ratted
rose
out.
to leader again, but
Cutting
apparently
off some heads.
Sorry,
By cutting off some heads.
most likely. But apparently there was a bit of tension in that as well. 2 of the gang didn't like him. So from what I understand, it says he made short work of them. I think that means he killed them.
Oh, that means he killed them, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he cut off their heads. No, they wanted me to. Before they died.
Yeah, no,
They told
sorry.
me.
I know that he killed them because at midnight, while they were both sleeping, he crept up on them, cut the throat of one, and clubbed the other to death with the butt of his gun.
With the head of another. He smashed it at him with another head.
So that's kind of messed up.
It's not ideal.
He doesn't seem like a great guy. It seems like he's pretty savage.
Yeah.
Which might lead to what ended up happening to him. So 1817, still October. So all of this happens
What
pretty
happens
quickly.
in 1817?
Yeah, all of this happens very quickly. He gets betrayed by one of his own men, a guy by the name of George Watson, who's working with a shopkeeper by the name of William Drew. So they tie Howe's hands in the process of trying to... They must have tied it, and then they were going to take him to the cops.
Okay.
Anyway, he gets his hands free. He stabs Watson,
Hectic.
his man that he's with, or that's part of the group. Then he takes Watson's gun and shoots the shopkeeper, killing him.
Okay.
Then he hides for basically nearly a year in the bush, but then he runs out of ammunition. 21st of October 1818, he goes to a particular hut where William Pugh of the 48th Regiment and this other guy, Thomas Worrell, they're hiding there. They're kind of got a bit of an inkling that he's going to come and try and get some ammunition. So they've got something set up there. The three of them all fired at Taylor. I assume Thomas and William firing at him and him back at them.
Right.
They all miss when they're firing, but later Howe gets killed by a blow to the head with a musket.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a strange turn of events.
Yeah. He gets clubbed to death. This is what Worrell, who is a stock keeper, so he looks after cattle and things. He gave a kind of a recollection or wrote down what happened. We were then about 15 yards from each other. He stared at me with astonishment, and to tell you the truth, I was a little astonished at him, for he was covered with patches of kangaroo skins and wore a black beard, a haversack and powder horns slung over his shoulders. I wore my beard also, as I do now, and a curious pair we looked. After a moment's pause, he cried out, "Black beard against white beard for $1,000,000, and I fired. I slapped at him, and I believe hit him, for he staggered, but rallied again and was clearing the bank between me and him when Pugh ran up and with the butt end of his firelock knocked him down, jumped after him and battered his brains out just as he was opening a clasp knife to defend himself." What a random thing to yell out.
Black beard versus white beard for $1,000,000. Any takers?
Yeah.
Anyone?
He seems like a kind of crazy dude.
I do love that they talk about wearing a beard.
Yeah.
How are you going to wear your beard? I was going to wear a black beard.
It's definitely not a different language, but a slightly different language to
I'm
the
going
way
to
we
start
speak
using
now.
that.
Yeah.
About wearing your beard.
Yeah, so he was 31, and it seems like this cutting off a head thing was pretty common back then because his head was cut off and taken to Hobart, but his body was left in the woods.
Well, who needs a body when you've got a head?
Yeah. Worrell, who I just read that thing from, he got a third of the reward.
Nice.
A pardon from his own convict sentence, because apparently he'd
done some shit.
was a convict as well, so he was obviously working as a stockman as a convict, and given free passage back to England for his work in stopping our mate Michael Howe.
But
So that's
why would
good.
you want to leave this beautiful
I don't know.
country
I don't
at
know
that
if he
time
actually
period?
left or not.
In 1800s, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Very well settled.
That hot, dusty world with probably no electricity.
But all the heads you
and
could collect.
pooping in a hole. Yeah, all the heads you can
A
collect.
lot of heads.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of
Michael
his
Howe.
life. And this is the thing about the conspiracy. So
I was going to say.
apparently there was powerful men in Hobart and Launceston who they reckon had arrangements with Howe and his group. A man by the name of Edward Lord. It doesn't really say what they think this was though, but it seems like there was some kind of agreement with them about what they were collecting or protection. Because it seems like he comes forward a couple times,
Yeah.
but then he pisses off again. Maybe they were
As
working
if someone
for them.
was like,
Yeah,
no,
'cause
you can't do this. You've got to go back and do that.
he comes forward twice and is given clemency twice.
Correct.
But then he just decides to give it up again. It's almost like they arranged it for him, but then they're like, "Oh, we've got another job. Do you want to
Yeah, do you want that instead?
jump back in it?" So there is some
So
interesting.
they think there's some higher powers playing at
Yeah,
it.
I'd be interested to hear
Aidan.
what Aidan had to say about that, because they talk about it. Apparently, the web of bushrangers and powerful individuals in the Van Diemen's Land around that time period is very complicated and quite intricate and very interesting. How everybody knew each other. So
I'd like to see that web.
be interesting to hear what Aidan's thoughts are on that.
How strange. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
Conspiracies. They date back as long as Australia does.
yeah. So
Like, I mean, further back. I'm not saying that Australia started then.
Oh no, we did. Yeah,
I'm not that kind of
no,
person.
No. That definitely started here. Yeah,
Right. Beards. Tim's wearing his beard short.
I'm wearing my beard today. Yeah,
And he's wearing it red.
I don't know what he looks like. Hang on, I'm gonna have to try and look him up. I know, because I haven't seen a picture of him yet.
Well, you do that. I'll talk beards. I'm wearing my beard shorter than normal for the last couple of months. Bit of a stark difference. Still a brown with reddy tinge. Both looking luscious as always because we use Bushrangers Brew. You need to get onto the interwebs. You need to get your Bushrangers Brew. And then when you get it, it's beard oil, beard wash, moustache wax. What you got to do is you douse yourself in it. head to toe. Order 2 bottles. I know that Joel says you should only use like 2 or 3 drops at a time, but order 2 bottles. Douse yourself in one. Secondary bottle, do what he says. You'll smell like heaven.
Yeah.
You could smell like a Bunyip Stream. You could smell like a Rum's Rebellion. You could smell like a... What's the other one? You have it.
Don't I have the Bunyip Stream?
Oh, Mystics. That's the one I have.
You'll smell like a Mystics.
You can smell like a Mystics.
A single Mystics plural.
A single one of them. But yeah, so if you want to wear your beard in the most fashionable way possible, go to www.bushrangersbrew.com and you can get 25% off your order using the code YEAHGDAY, YEAHGDAY, because it's a great deal.
Yep. I reckon Michael Howe... We don't have any pictures of him from the time period.
Oh, it's a shame.
Usually we have like a drawing or like an actual a photo or picture of them from that time period. There doesn't seem to be any that I can find that exist.
Great.
But
Instagram posts are going to be shit this week.
Yeah, I believe that there's like a series out there that is about Michael Hall, and the actors that have played him have gone barefaced for some of it, but they've also had quite thick, big, long beards as well.
Well, if he was wearing a black beard and it's mentioned by that other guy, like it must have been hardy enough.
Yeah.
And for him to call out black beard against white beard, like there was a bit of distance. You had to be able to see the hardy beard.
So it was a hardy beard.
I'm going for hardy. I would say crazy and scraggly because he'd been in the bush for like a year.
Unconfirmed exactly, but I'm going to say big, long wizard's beard tucked into his belt.
Oh, yeah.
Wiry, coarse. He was out in the bush for a full year.
And he'd be wearing, I'd say, Mystics. I feel like Misty's got that upper class.
He's a mystic.
That he would have in the conspiracy theory.
Yeah, he's a single mystic.
There you go. You got something on your bloody mobile device there for us?
No, I've got a dad device that I'm just going to bring up on my phone.
That'd be great.
Here it is. Yeah, no, here it is. Don't worry about it. I found it. Here it is.
No, you do it.
Oh, I'll read this, won't I? Dear Tim and Leon, I have recently been trying to cook more often since I reckon it'll be healthier for my body and my wallet. My problem is I'm really busy working long hours and with a lot of obligations after work too. How do you do it? Got any advice for easy meals I can get going on my busy schedule? Have a cracker day, Siobhan.
Siobhan, you come to the wrong place.
Yeah. If I were to show you my Uber Eats history, it's long.
It's as wide as it is vast.
Yeah, it's a tome of lore, the likes of which never seen the likes of which.
We know at least 2 or 3 of the drivers quite well by look.
It gets kind of awkward actually.
There's the one that's got the courier sign on their car.
Yeah.
There's the lady who has the bike. They're the main 2 that I know.
Order way too much.
Look, what you've got to do is cook a shit ton, but then have self-control not to eat it all. Because I have a number of times, where, as I think probably mentioned before, when Elise and I cook, because I don't have spices and that, Elise will like cook both of them, pull my plain stuff out, and then cook her stuff. But if it's mince, like it was last night, my plain stuff is half the mince, hers is half the mince. But she puts it in a bowl, and if it's... Last night was different, but if it's like pasta or something... I'm just like, chuck all this mince in with this pasta. Yeah. And then it's the end of the night and you've eaten half a bowl of mince and pasta. And then you don't have any leftovers because then Elise is like, oh, that was all of yours. And I was like,
Yeah, no.
So that's gone. But yeah, it's about that quantity. You got to cook lots. So whatever you're going to cook, if you're just cooking for yourself, Siobhan, just cook 2 people's worth or 3 people's worth.
Maybe even 4.
4,
perhaps 5.
I believe in
6.
Okay, that's
7,
12. I believe when Elise was in Finland, there's a thing over there. I think it was there. It was either her or when Tanya Doko was talking to us about being in Sweden. But it's like they won't let food go to waste. So like if they cook a meal, they eat that until that meal is done.
Interesting.
So even if you've got to eat it for like lunch and dinner the next 2 days or whatever, you go until you're done, which I think is mental because it's usually a struggle for me to do leftovers.
Oh, I do leftovers.
I like them, but I'm always like,
cook.
Again?
Yeah.
Quantity, easy things, or tots and tenders.
Tots and tenders, classic. Classic.
It's like takeaway, but you made it yourself, so you feel a little less shit.
Alternatively,
yes.
Another way, start chasing those coupons.
Oh.
Find yourself some sweet deals.
Yep. I didn't
Start
think of that.
chasing the coupons. If you got to order, find the cheapest way to do it.
That's true. Also, Uber Eats is not expensive.
It depends where you get it from, but yeah.
Can you sponsor us, Uber Eats? If you're getting Ready Rooter, like...
Yeah, but that is that healthy? Siobhan said healthy, didn't she?
Oh, shit, Siobhan, come on now. Spending's more like savings. I mean, savings more like spendings, am I right? Healthy and cheap.
You got the winning lotto numbers there?
Rice is your
rightio.
friend.
Yeah.
Rice. That's my answer for you, Siobhan. Rice.
Just eat rice.
Rice. Tuna
Exclusively.
and rice.
Yep.
2-minute noodles. Not healthy. A lot of emulsifiers. But
Chew rice.
I really feel like she has come to the wrong people.
Eggs.
Tim's just shouting foods.
Banana.
Eggs.
No, eggs are a good, easy thing to cook.
You want something that's filling.
Eggs and lentils. That's what I mean, that sounds weird, but I have been having that recently.
You
Pretty
have
good.
I
Pretty
don't
good.
know if it's... Although she doesn't necessarily want filling. She just wants easy.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, it's fucking hot in here.
Get yourself a partner
Yep.
and then coax them into cooking.
Yeah.
Like I do. A lot.
You're listening to this, Elise?
No, he doesn't listen to this show anymore. Probably just listening to us through the door like Khaleesi is.
Yep.
So Siobhan, I know that helped a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got a lot of... You've probably listed everything we've
Oh,
said.
yeah. We've given you recipes.
Yep.
2 tons of oil and half a ton of butter and a bit of rice. And you'll get something. Tim, there was something I was going to say before, and now I don't remember what it is.
I'm glad that you announced that.
Thank you.
People, if you can remember what Leon was
Yeah.
going to say, write into
Call
us.
in now.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. This wasn't what I was going to say, but our website did change. I don't have it in front of me, but it's definitely like Wix. It's like wix.jaegerday.com/Jaegerday or something like that. And I'm like, yes. Yep. Double the name.
Yeah. We're hosted on Wix, in case you didn't pick that up.
And now when you go there, the ads on there tell you that if you want to make a website, just to click the link. So we're helping you out, really.
Yeah.
We're passing the savings on to you. So that's happening. Patreon, we had a lot of people ask us questions. Surprisingly, people give a shit.
Oh, that's interesting.
When people in the survey were like, we want to know about you, I was like, don't be silly. No
Why?
one cares. But out of all the posts we've made recently, that's probably one of the more active posts we've had of people asking us questions.
Interesting.
So we'll be answering that on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
It may be available to the general public. I'm not making any promises. I can't promise anything.
We'll see.
Can I promise something? I can't.
No.
So that's going on, and that's kind of it. There was something. I'll think of it later. So yeah, do that. Cool. As always, thanks to Teylor Smirl for our wonderful cover art.
And Curtis Fernance. Fern Tree Music is his thingo that he does, that he makes music with out of a fern tree. It's actually the fern tree that makes music. Curtis is just in charge of sales and marketing. But, flick him your attention anyway.
It's hollowed out. It just kind of lets the air go through it. And follow us on all the social media. Find our website. Just search the deep dark web if you can.
Yeah.
And that will do it. As always. Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Gadgets on the flippity flop.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.